I realize the other side of that picture. Shame, confusion, racism, ridicule, not knowing where I stood, black or white. Where and how would I have fit in? What race am I? Am I black? Am I white?
It is rare that an educational institution can find such a perfect vehicle, one that takes the audience on a dramatic ride that is breathtakingly entertaining and, at the same time, results in the audience thinking deeply about issues of identity, diversity, and what it means to be a human. Incognito unmasks a variety of issues in a way that is both entertaining and engaging. Unlike most programs of its kind, this one-man interactive comedy drama transports the audience on a fascinating journey while simultaneously tackling a diverse range of social issues. Following each presentation, Michael engages his audience in a spirited discussion, navigating the many themes the play exposes: race, diversity, stereotypes, identity, adoption, divorce, forgiveness, and more.
Hi, Michael. You have an incredible story, and it reflects the experience of many people. And as someone who's biracial, who's grown up without my father, and therefore half of who I am, and I'm just curious to know what your advice is on going through that process and discovering both a whole different side of who you are and a whole different culture as well as your father, and what is the greatest lesson that you've learned, and what is your advice for people who are thinking about undergoing that experience and process?
Thank you again, Michael. I appreciate this play as well because, just a quick background, I myself come from a biracial family and have a strong identity, ability to talk about race with everyone, and actually kind of the opposite experiences where I know my history very well, know where my father comes from being black, my mother comes from being white, from Europe, and just really being able to express that a lot. So I appreciate the fact this is on a stage and being able to talk about this in public. But my question actually goes a little bit political.
Okay.
I have interest in the current our state senator running for president in a time where we talk about race a lot. And he, if you know anything about his background, talks about being from two different sides of America and that sort of thing.
Right.
I don't really have a specific question. I just wanted to know if you had any opinion about the time that we are in this country with politics, talking about race openly with possibly first black presidential nominee.
I appreciate the show tonight. It was very informative, and I appreciated your candor, your humor, in talking about a very, very touchy subject in this country, race. And I think the three questions I have are all spill out of the race question. Like I said, you brought humor to a very touchy issue, and I think one of the issues you addressed in this show has to do with skin color. And unless you're unless you know someone who you're very close to who is African American, you don't know how very strong the issue of your skin color plays a role in the black community. And I was hoping that you would touch upon that a little more. The other issue is socioeconomic status. You touched upon it, talking about Gray's Lake and how you grew up, a part of your childhood was spent there, parts of Chicago, Waukegan, and then how your father and your mother initially raised you in the Boston community, so close to the projects. There are different realities for different types of, it depends, your reality is definitely shaped as a black person by your socioeconomic status. You touched upon it a little bit in your play, but I was hoping that you could perhaps talk a little bit more about that. And the third thing, I think the questions before me touched upon it a little bit as well. Your feeling of going and living between two different heritages, white and black, can be applied to those who are multi-ethnic in a different way, perhaps not racially. I know myself, I'm the child of two immigrants, Nigerian immigrants. So my Nigerian American heritage is very similar to that of being biracial. I've grown up American, but Nigerian at home. So I know these are a lot of questions, but you've made me think about a lot of things.
Good.
And I just wanted to
Right on.
address them, or have you address them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, you say that I was one of 2 white guys on the basketball team.
Yeah.
Oh, but then but I wasn't white. Now, you seem to be expressing a common American way of, if you have any percentage of black blood, you're black.
Uh-huh.
You're black.
Right. Uh-huh.
I mean, but however you expressed in the rest of the play, you know, the difficulty, gosh, what am I?
Right.
You know, I'm really, you know, both.
Right.
And, you know, what am I?
What am
Regular being.
I? Huh?
A person.
I'm a person. Right.
I don't find you any other way.
Anyway,
But,
Right.
but I have light skin.
Exactly.
I was not treated in the way that someone with black skin, dark skin, would have been treated, perhaps.
Right.
And so I went through life with what we all here, I think, pretty much, have gone through life, thank you, and that is what is called white privilege.
right.
We never even think about it because it is not a part of our lives at all. It just is. You know what I mean? And so I had that experience. And so my question is, at the end of the play, I try to say, all my names. Because the idea that I'm trying to get across is to accept all of who we are. You're absolutely right. I'm accepting all of who I am. But the bigger question in our society is what is race? Why is it? Is it a social construct? Is it the way you were raised? Is it culture? Is it your heritage? Is it the color of your skin?
You have a question. You've had your hand up for a while. Yes, sir.
I'm a Bahamian and I want to know what African American means.
You want to know what African American means? That's a great question because, in America, African American is used to describe people of color. However, people of color from Africa who live in America don't really like to be associated with people of color who are Americans. But that brings up the question then, but they're from Africa and they're in America, so they're African Americans. And so it's a very, again, your question is great because it really talks about the delineation of these boxes. Look, when we use the word Asian American or Asian, whatever we want, for people in America, I speak of, that encompasses people from Thailand, from China, from Japan, from Java, from all of these places. But they're not Asian Americans, all these people. They're all different things, but we throw them in one box. Hispanic, same deal. So, the big problem too of this is not only do we use these boxes to delineate people as they are, but again, it's the stereotypes that we lump on top of these boxes, and then it seems that everyone who's in that box, all those stereotypes are suddenly attached or applied to those people, and it's very unfair.
Thank you. First, I want to applaud you.
Thank you.
It was a great play, and your whole demeanor throughout the play, there was really no animosity that would, in some instances, come up. Mm-hmm. When the young lady talked about being biracial and things of that nature, I think that once you look into your history and your heritage, I have a strange history and heritage. It's 12 of us. I have 12 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
We go every shade,
Yeah.
from light to dark.
Yep.
I have a brother who was born with red hair and blue eyes. My father's side of the family has Italian and Ethiopian in it.
Yeah.
My mother's side of the family has Blackfoot Indian and Turkish. So why I applaud you is that when you look around and you do your heritage and you think about it, you realize that I grew up in, just like you, in a neighborhood, even though we were black, Negro, whatever you wanted to call us. My father had to become Catholic. We went to Catholic church. We were one of 3 black families in a Catholic church. We went to Catholic school. Our entire lives were interracial. So we never had the true experience of black or white as far as color until I went to school in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Wow.
Whereas when I was affectionately called a cute little colored girl. First experience.
Yeah.
So I didn't experience that till I was much older. So I applaud you again. And my question to you is that because you've shown no animosity, how have you been able to overcome, I'm sure from audiences, how they felt about it? That they were angry, as I've heard in some of the comments, that the anger came out because of your play. How have you overcome that?
That's a great question. You know, that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to stir up the pot, to start the discussion. There's all, you said there's all different shades. There's all different levels of anger and resentment and animosity. People who resent me because I grew up white, like I had some choice in that matter. You know what I'm saying? Or people who resent me because, you know, I've passed but didn't know I was passing, or whatever. And that's why I'm doing this. I get to have these discussions with people. I get to provoke the conversations, and it's okay. I don't take it personal, you know, because I think in a way it's I feel really blessed. Okay, I feel really blessed. I'm not the biracial spokesperson. Okay, I'm just a guy with a story, and it provokes a lot of interesting conversation about topics that need to be discussed, and I feel blessed to be able to do that.